shooting out those little tidbits of things to their employees and practicing it themselves could be a phenomenal way to kickstart their company into what we call is this well-being, thriving company.
So welcome back, everyone, to the MISHRM videocast. Glad you could all be here today. I am with a very special guest, as always. I welcome you, Cindy Bjorkquist, who is the Director of WellBeing with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Cindy, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here with you today. You're laughing already.
We've got so much energy, and I was really excited to meet you and bring you on because I want to make sure that the HR professionals and our viewers get a taste of that. And when we started talking prior to this segment and starting to gather information, one of the things that you hit on me and hit on me hard, which I loved, it was what you corrected me on.
Oh,
all of the time I thought about wellness programming, all of that. And you said, Greg, it's all about well-being. So where I'd love to be able to start is this. First, very simply, what's the difference? Because I think most people don't know.
Yeah, it's a simple little word that people float around, but let's think of it as, way back 35 years ago in my career, it was wellness, eat right, exercise, manage your stress. And that's pretty much what wellness was, nutrition, Then now there's been this whole pocket of neuroscience that has bubbled up, and it's more than just that. It involves the brain. It involves your self identity. It involves mindfulness. So all the things that encapsulate well-being, mind, body, spirit, all of that just tags, we're calling it well-being now. It's just broader than just wellness. Some people even still call all these categories or components of me being thriving in my life wellness, but well-being brings that extra kind of to the neuroscience behind it.
Okay, I like it. I'm glad you touched on neuroscience, because part of what everybody hears about, and it's a big word and people get kind of scared when they hear words they don't know, but they also hear a lot of different items, different things from doctors, from specialists, from people like yourself that are, directors of well-being. And so they're getting pulled in different directions. Hey, I need to take care of my heart. I need to take care of my weight. I don't want to have type 2 diabetes. I want to be nutritionally sound. I want to get enough sleep. Before we take a dive in those other areas, neuroscience is what you picked up, and you're very excited about it for a reason. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's probably because it encapsulates, if I was helping you, if I came to you and said, Greg, I want to help you thrive in your life. I want to help you be the best person that you can be for yourself, for your family, for your social circle around you. It's more than just getting Greg to eat his vegetables, or it's more than getting Greg just to exercise 150 minutes, every week, the CDC recommendations. It's more than that. What it is about helping you and your mind and your brain understand the value of letting your brain rest. If you're a person like me, go. We all have different personalities, right? So letting your brain rest at time, getting your brain to be resilient to stress, which is the new age. Before it was stress management, managing your stress. Now it's resiliency. That's all your brain. That's me taking my brain and doing different things to it and training it to be more thriving in the well-being state, but it's training it to that if I do get in a stressful situation, I know how to bring my body down from that stressful situation and be resilient to that by doing certain things like just taking deep breaths, or I'm proactively meditating every single day, twice a day, to make myself calm down. So when I have to go through my day or something comes stressful in my mind or in my environment, that I don't react to it. I have awareness of my body. That's much different than what we used to do a long time ago, which is just wellness. So now it's like, what can I do to help people understand the connection between their brain and helping them thrive in their life with this big, audacious title, like you said, which is called WellBeing, which is this huge. I mean, it's just huge of all the things I need to do in my life, which can stress you out, even knowing all the things that you need to do for your life. But the brain just handles so much of that. And so we comb the research every single day in neuroscience to find those golden nuggets of things that people are doing to help other people thrive in their life.
Well, I love that because you touched on a couple of things in there, and I want to dissect a few. Okay. One is the fact that stress is important. Actually, it can be helpful, but too much when, cortisol comes out, there's some bad things that happen. Most people will tell you, if given the opportunity, they're pulling in 80 different directions, and they'll tell you they just don't have time to do this. Which, by the way, I have two theories of thought on that. One is I just don't have time as a dog, is the adult version of the dog ate my homework. And number two is it's not time that we have choices. And we all tend to not always make the most healthy choices. So if there's one thing from a neuroscience perspective that people could be doing differently, what's one thing that you would give them?
Practicing mindfulness on a daily basis. Some people think mindfulness means meditation, sit down, legs crossed, breathing. It could mean that, but mindfulness also could be a single breath before you dial into the next meeting. Mindfulness always could be a break at lunch and you take a mindful walk around the block, or you leave the office or in the hallway. It could be mindfulness is also linked to the power of silence, power of me understanding that there's actually documented research on me practicing silence every day for myself. Yeah, it's really weird. Get up in the morning, and some people do meditation, some people do mindfulness, but this whole area that I've been researching lately is silence. Do you ever get to be silent with yourself? Because if you're silent with yourself, get rid of environmental noise, however you need to do that, you have to talk to your inner self. You have to. And so many people, like you said, are bombarded with stress and noise and project plans and timelines. And, they're stuck on their calendar meeting to meeting. If they incorporate these little pockets of silence or mindfulness throughout the day, there's documented research on decreasing your body systems that cause stress, but then also improving your health and improving your productivity, improving your creativity, improving your organizational skills. All those things are actually documented in neuroscience. And so that's one thing that people may not know, the value of mindfulness and silence. Maybe that's something that people haven't heard before that they could learn on the show.
No, this is terrific. I appreciate it, Cindy, because there's something else. There's another S word that I want to talk about in the neuroscience arena. And I have a feeling it's got some positive influence, and that's sleep. A lot of people, sure. HR professionals, those that they report to, if they either own their own business or those CEOs within a company, it's almost like they wear that as a badge of honor. That badge being, I don't get enough sleep. I'm doing it with 3-4 hours of sleep a night, and it's just not healthy. So how does that affect a person from a well-being standpoint, a mindfulness, a neuroscience standpoint in terms of how productive they can be or not be?
It's critical. It's in the C category. Your S word is in the C category. It's critical. You have to have sleep. And I'll add a word onto your sleep word. It's called hygiene. So in my world, when I talk about it, it's called sleep hygiene, which basically means it's the things that you do in your life to make sure you have good quality sleep, because good quality sleep, think of it as it rehabs your body and your mind for the next day. You have to have that downtime of your mind and your body. You have to slip into those REM states. You have to get those long phases of REM, and you go in and out all night when you're sleeping. So do you lay down at night and create your bedroom, which is an environment for sleep hygiene? There's we could do a whole show on just sleep hygiene, but think about it. That's what prepares you for sleep. And if you dig into what personally works for you, like I have to have a sound machine next to my head. I have all through, because my mind is like this, and I can't turn it off. So my sleep hygiene, hot shower, and then I do my yoga poses, and then I turn it's like very ABC. Then I turn my sound machine on, and then I get into bed and I'm like, I journal, but then I'm like, I love my down comforter. And I actually like in my mind, I'm like, I love my bed. I love my mattress. So you create the sleep hygiene because sleep is critical for your overall well-being and your health. I mean, you hit it. Yeah.
I love it. And you touched on something else too. And it's near and dear to my heart. And when we were talking prior to this, didn't see it so much as well-being, but absolutely it is. And that's, you mentioned it, journaling. And I just think it's such a positive reinforcement of some of the things that we do in life, and kind of putting a cherry on top of all the well-being things that we can do for ourselves. So why don't you speak to that for a moment? How could that potentially help others that are watching this?
Yeah. So I, ironically, I've been journaling for a very long time, but I found my journal from when I was 14 years old in my mom's house after she passed away. And I tell you, my two boys and I have had laughs for months, when I found that. But journaling, and it was funny because when I was 14, like I'm old now, but when I was 14, journaling is exactly why people should journal, because I was writing my inner thoughts and my stress, and I was documenting things in my life that I needed to get out before I went to sleep. And so there are many different ways or reasons why people journal. You can journal to get stress out of your head before you go to bed. You can journal for positive psychology. If you want to become a more positive person, like I wake up like this. I wake up talking a million miles a minute, annoying to people, just, happy, woo, let's go with the day and stuff. But some people don't. Some people really are in a state of stress. So there's been research where you document in the morning the things that make you happy, and you can actually rewire your brain. This is about rewiring your brain towards happiness and away from negative feelings just by journaling in the morning or before you go to bed. You journal the 3 things that happen throughout the day that you're grateful for, and that's rewiring your brain before you go into a sleep state. Journaling is used for your inner thoughts, your inner feelings, positive psychology. You could even journal for financial well-being. If everybody should have a budget, everybody should know what their short and long-term goals are to decrease your stress in your life financially. You can journal all of that in a financial well-being journal entry to get you on track to get where you need to go. So that's decreasing stress, getting you to your goals, and making a long-term plan. So there's again, journaling is a whole hour conversation, but journaling, if you've never tried it, it's something that can really help you thrive in your life in all those different categories, even journaling your food. If you're struggling with emotional eating and you're reaching for the potato chips or the cookies or the ice cream, turn to your journal and kind of journal, well, I'm not hungry, so why am I reaching for the junk food? And then you find the reason why you're reaching, and then you journal about it, and hopefully you can curb that habit around. So lots of reasons to journal.
Love it. And you said it. I talk to people until I'm blue in the face with regards to journaling. And the thing that I always get a kick out of is that's what most people lead towards is, it's for 14-year-olds. It's for young people. I don't need to do this. Well, to your points, it's exactly why they need to do this. Yeah. And so I love that that's now part of the well-being area. They need to do this to better themselves. And you just said it. You write down how things are and put goals to them. Imagine that. So here's something else that I want to find out too. And that is, well-being, wellness per se is used as a buzzword, unfortunately now. And so how do you separate the noise from everything else? Because people will hear things and then they'll try to do this. And we're human. We want quick fixes, right? And it's just not a quick fix. So how can you help people by changing just that mindset alone?
Yeah, I know, if I reflect where, like my whole life, I've wanted to help people. I don't know. I think I got it from my mom. She was like helping everybody, and I just got into this thing where I wanted to help people. So I love the fact that in my career and what I'm doing now, I'm helping people with well-being, but even more than that tag of helping people thrive in their life or well-being, is trying to get people engaged in doing something. And I think that's the biggest answer maybe to your question is, because it's an audacious topic, well-being, it's so big that if people can just try to engage in whatever health issue they need to, wherever that is, eating right, exercising, being mindful, try to be silent, brain health, spend time in nature. There's just so many things that if they can just make a small goal and make nudges towards improving themselves, then that big audacious well-being topic becomes a little bit smaller. It just becomes a little bit more realistic, because there's some research out there by BJ Fogg and other researchers that say, if you make a goal like this, you're probably not, I'm outside the frame. If you make a goal like this, you're probably not going to get it. But if you make a goal like this and try to chunk away and you build on that success, so if you're out there struggling, then, and if you're not getting any exercise at all, and the CDC and everybody is saying, you should be, 150 minutes per week of exercise, moderate intensity, stretching, weightlifting, flexibility, balance, just go for a walk for 10 minutes. That's a small goal. And then once you do that, do 15, then 20, and then look at what you're eating. And then, and then, are you practicing mindfulness? So you kind of go through all the categories and just make tiny changes to your life and tiny goals to your life and celebrate your successes. Because I have this big philosophy that life is a journey, and you're on, and everyone is on this journey, and your well-being can go up, and then something happens and it goes down again. And hopefully you've built resilience so you don't go too far down, but you go up. And then you start an exercise plan and then you fail. And then you journal about it. You're like, that's okay, I'll go up. So in this life that we're blessed to have, then in this journey of well-being, you just do as best as you can. You research, you listen to like you doing podcasts or shows or whatever, and just try to be the best person you can and learn and adapt. But if you're not engaging at all in well-being or in your health, that's the people down here that I really want to try to help. I mean, that's the people that I worry about because they've given up. And that's the population that their mind has told them it's too big. I can't do it. I'm overweight. I'm obese. I eat terrible, and they're down here. That's where you try to get them engaged to do something. That's the people I worry about, is the people that aren't engaged at all.
Well, I think that's a good segue too, because there's a lot of HR professionals online, whether they're sole practitioners, they're part of a corporation, business owners. Yeah. What are a couple, you mentioned a lot, but what are a couple more tips, tricks, helpful thoughts to be able to have them implement for well-being today? Outside of just taking a quick walk. I think those are great plans, but in that business or corporate world, what can they take?
For them or for their employees?
I would say both. Why don't you answer for them first and then their employees?
All right. So for them, I would say that if you are in charge or looking at programs for your employees, you have to try to role model what you're sending out to your employees, because that is the best way for leaders to be able to influence other people, is to role model the things you're pushing out. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying that they have to be perfect, but what I'm saying is that if I'm a leader in an organization, and I consider HR professionals leaders because I think they have the pulse on the entire organization all the time. Great. And so if they're leaders of the organization as far as human performance, then what they're doing in their professional life and the role that they're setting for their employees, are they practicing mindfulness? Are they it could be something as simple as, are they sending emails at midnight and expecting people to answer the emails? I'm notorious for doing emails at night, but I have set an expectation with all of my staff that, hey, I just have a pocket of time at night where I like to do emails, 10, 11 o'clock at night. You are not to answer them. Don't be booting up and whatever. So you'll even get in trouble if you do. Wait till the next morning. But it's just, I have free time, at that time. So it's all about the expectations. It's all about role modeling. get themselves to at least try to identify and acknowledge that they're working on themselves for well-being, and then push it out to their employees, or do it simultaneous at the same time, because we all have areas that we need to work on. But this idea that if you're pushing things out for well-being, but you're not role modeling it yourself, then those people aren't going to believe you. If you're pushing out how to be resilient to stress, but if you're in a meeting with a bunch of people and you lose it and you start yelling at people, they're going to go, wow, that resilience program is really not working for you, is it? But then at the same time, acknowledging, saying, well, I think I'm just going to take a deep breath, or I'm going to go for a walk because that topic made me upset. I've done that before. Or I have told my staff in extremely stressful times that I'm taking Friday as a mental health day. I'm taking PTO. I'm getting on my bike and I'm going to go bike around in the woods, and I'll have my phone and my, backpack with me, but I'm on vacation. So only call me in emergencies, but time out. I need to go in the woods on my bike. And they know that's how I recharge myself. So they need to find the areas they need to work on and find what works for them, dig at it a little bit. And then at the same time or after that, just start shooting those awesome topics out to their employees to help them. And that's like a whole strategy of communication and marketing, all these phenomenal well-being topics that are out there today that could get people engaged beyond just the get your exercise, watch what you eat, and stuff like that. The topics out there are we did a show on talking to strangers. Did you know that there's science in the talking to 5 strangers a day can improve your well-being? Like, who knew? I love talking to strangers. I love it. But you try to influence other people to say the next time you're in line at Meijer and you're sitting there and you're waiting in line, strike up a conversation with someone around you. That is healthy to do that. That helps your brain. That helps you. Gratitude, empathy, it's all connected. So shooting out those little tidbits of things to their employees and practicing it themselves could be a phenomenal way to kickstart their company into what we call is this well-being, thriving company, infecting everybody.
Perfect. I mean, Sid, this is awesome. So there's so much more that we can talk about. And so What I want to do, I'd love to have you back at another point. Before then, though, I want people to be able to reach out to you and find you. So what are some ways that they can reach out to connect?
They can just probably send me an email is the best way. So C and then my last name. Do you want me to say it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. C and then B as in boy, JORK, QUIS as in Sam, T as in Tom, at bcbsm.com. I know it's a weird last name.
No, it's not. It's a beautiful last name, and you did a great job getting it to everybody. Cindy. Okay. So and I always say it to make sure I've got it because it's Cindy Bjorkquist. So did I pronounce it right? You did. It's Scandinavian. I get it. I get from like positive feedback. That's where. Right. No, it was perfect. It was totally perfect. Yeah. So thank you again, Cindy. So for everyone watching, this has been Cindy Bjorkquist, Director of Wellbeing for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Thank you for being a part of this show, Cindy. Honored to be here. Thank you so much for the invite. Hey, thank you. And for all of you, thank you again for being a part of our MISHRM video cast. I'm your host, Greg Coyne, with Sandler at Jerry Weinberg and Associates. Couldn't thank you all enough. Until next time, have a great one, everyone. Thank you for being a part. Take care.